Here we go now.
When I first started Kempire Radio 15 plus years ago, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. 15 years later, now artificial intelligence has taken over and it's making your website building so easy. I'm excited to partner with Wix for today's live because Wix was the very first website that I ever used. And even back then, they made it easy. So you can imagine 15 years ago versus 2026, Wix is making it even easier with AI. So there are a couple of really cool things that you can do with Wix. With the hybrid website editor that offers the speed of AI, precision of drag and drop, and guidance of a dedicated AI agent, aka the new way to create websites. And you don't have to pay anyone to do this. You could do this yourself. Create in whatever way feels most natural to you with a platform that lets you flow freely between AI and manual controls. Because some people just let AI do whatever they want, and that is not what you want. You want to be able to do and create something that's unique to you. As I said to you before, you can launch a pro-grade website that's quality, but make it very easy for you to create. There are all kinds of really cool capabilities that they provide. Wix Harmony is packed with some of the coolest, most useful AI features and agents, built specifically for small businesses. Generate images, product descriptions, blogs, and more. Automate email marketing, SEO tasks, inventory management, and more. You even get an AI agent named Aria who can help you build your website or take care of business. Wix has been on top of AI for years, so naturally they're the ones introducing the new way to create websites. Try Wix Harmony for free at wix.com/harmony. That's wix.com/harmony. More details on that will be available in the description. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. If you haven't already, guys, be sure to like the video. Be sure to share the video. And if you're listening to this on the Kempire podcast, be sure to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Shout out to everyone that's already in the chat. Thank you so much already for 100 likes. Yes, thank you for 100 likes. Friday, happy Friday, y'all. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. It's Friday the 13th. And don't forget, a month from today, we will have our live show in New York City. It's the only live show I have planned so far for 2026. So shout out to those of you that are flying in. We have a woman flying in from Kenya. Yes, coming all the way from Kenya. So if you're in Philly, if you're in the tri-state area, if you're in DC, if you're in the States, get your tickets. Come, make it a weekend. All right. Friday, March 13th, we will have our live show at the Green Room 42, a night of hot topics and tea being spilled from me and from you. I also found out the possible winners of Traitors or winner. Stay tuned. I found out, and honestly, at this particular point, I don't even care because the people that we probably would have wanted to win are already gone. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but I found out and I was like, All right. Latonya said, wow, that's awesome from Kenya. Yes, Kenya. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okemia says, I'm a May 13th baby, so I love 13. It's only, what, 3 more months till our birthdays? 3 more months till our birthdays. I'm May 11th. Okay. Kendra says, I love how you give Real Housewives Beverly Hills 10 minutes max. No, the last reviews I've been doing on Beverly Hills have been longer than 10 minutes. Today might get 10 minutes max. Maybe last week's episode was 10 minutes. I can't remember. But no, I've definitely been giving them more than 10 minutes. Maybe just based off of us having a good time with it for what it is. Makes it feel like 10 minutes, but it's definitely 10 minutes. Okay? More than 10 minutes. Yeah, Heather says, yes, only live show. Okay, that's the only live show. Go get your tickets today. But if you can't come to New York City, there is a live stream option only for this show. So go get your tickets for the Kempire After Dark, a live show happening in New York City on March 13th at the Green Room 42. Again, ticket information will be available in the live chat or in the description for those that are listening or watching this later. All right. All right. And thank you so much already, guys. 125 likes. Thank you. We are also celebrating. I forgot to mention this the other day. We are also celebrating over 250 million views here on the Kempire YouTube channel. 250 million views. We just hit that milestone this week. So thank you for being a part of that. And those of you that watch the content, rewatch the content, share the content, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. All right. After the live, I will be adding the timestamps. No rushes on me doing that. So you'll have to skip around, replay crew. But for those of you that are here, thank you for being here for the entire show. We appreciate you. At some particular point today, I will add the timestamps. I will also be live this evening for our special Galentines, aka Valentines, lovers dating live. So for those that want to share their stories, who need advice, have questions, give us an update. It's been a few weeks since we've done a dating live. So this is your opportunity. So call in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. PST. There's a link already available for it. Okay. Thank you all for all the love. Give that love to yourselves. You guys are the ones watching. Come on. You guys are the ones watching. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. All right. I want to first start off because this is our special Friday Live. This is not just us talking about Real Housewives Beverly Hills because Beverly Hills this season has been so lackluster. So we will talk about it. And I want to talk about the Valley. I want to talk the Valley Persian style. I also want to talk about the Traitors and a few new stories, pop culture stories that we need to get into, including Kimora Lee is squatting. Kimora, so that house that we saw on Back in the Fab Lane, you don't own it and it was bought with stolen money? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. Kimora. Oh my God. All right. But before we get into that, I don't know if you guys saw this. I have a new category that I want to add to this live on Fridays. Okay. Flunky of the Week. Okay. Flunky of the Week award has to go to Pam Bondi, our Attorney General. And when I say our, I'm like, ooh. Look, I just understand how we got to this place. Oh, I know. Some of y'all voted for this, not us, right? None of us in this room did, but maybe some of y'all did. Show yourself. Is this what you voted for? Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General, was ripped to shreds by this congressional hearing in regards to the Epstein files and some of the things that she's been doing with the Office of the Department of Justice. Okay. Sidebar. Did y'all see what RFK said yesterday? Yeah. Okay, sir. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. But anyway, Flunky of the Week goes to Pam Bondi. Wait, where's my image? Flunky of the Week. There are so many people that could have gotten it, but watching this hearing this past week was just so interesting. It was just so interesting and almost entertaining, but at the same time, disappointing in our country in regards to how far we've fallen. But at the same time, I'm also grateful for how far we've fallen because it's revealing so much of American history that I don't think that we even realize. Happy Black History Month. How we're realizing that America is not who we thought America was. And I don't think any of that would have been exposed without all of what's being exposed now. I know, I have to find the positive, y'all. I have to find the positive. And look, one of the other positive things I said back in 2016 after the Donald Trump first win, it inspired so many people that we now see in office to run for local or national office. I gotta find the positive, okay? Gotta find the positive. Now we need to bring balance back to the universe, dear God. We need to bring balance back to the universe. So Pam Bondi had a hearing this week, and she was tore to shreds. And this is shout out to Matt Rogers and Bowen Yang. Not really. Not really. Because you remember, they've been very quiet. They've been very quiet since their statement to donate to Jasmine Crockett's election, her Senate election there in Texas. And I saw that Jasmine Crockett recently in an interview talked about that. This is not, you guys don't talk politics. Why are you starting now? Now, watching that video of Matt Rogers talk about it, it now makes me think that someone paid them to bring up that guy's name, Torrico, because nobody really was talking about him. And now it's starting to feel like it's like they're the ops or an industry plant. It's starting to feel that you guys decided to randomly bring up this person because maybe you were paid to randomly bring up this person. I don't know, but I'm going to bring it up because this is the type of energy. And if you haven't donated to Jasmine Crockett's campaign, here's your opportunity. Donate. She's going to need all the donations. Isn't the primary election next week? Texas folks, remind me. I believe it's next week. Just a reminder. Go out and vote. All right. Because it's a little too close for comfort between her and Torrico. James Torrico, right? So this is what, for the Flunky of the Week, I'm not going to say anything because normally for Flunky of the Week, I would read them for filth. I'm going to let Jasmine read Pam Bondi for filth because she actually did read Pam Bondi for filth to her face.
Let me address the survivors because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughing stock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going. My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on. And frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Yeah. So if you haven't already, you can still have time to donate to Jasmine Crockett's Senate campaign. All right. It's still an uphill climb. You know, first it has to be the Democratic nominee. So Texas, I know we have a lot of people in Texas. Now, if Jasmine Crockett wins the Senate, I might just have to book a show in Texas. I might just have to fly out and just do a show wherever you guys will have me, okay? So shout out to Jasmine Crockett, okay? Shout out to Jasmine Crockett. I want to also give another shout out. And this is no longer Flunky of the Week. This is a shout out. This is a celebration, a congratulations to Shamari DeVoe. You remember Shamari DeVoe? She was part of the group Black, and she was also a part of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Well, Shamari just revealed. Let me just show you the video. Hold on, let me just show you the video. Shamari just revealed that she is in the last stretch of going to nursing school. We talked about this briefly. Someone brought it up briefly before, okay? And I feel like this was something for all of us to talk about because I've talked about this before. Stop normalizing just becoming a reality TV star or just becoming, just someone in entertainment. There's so many jobs that we still need all of you to get into. And I love the fact that she's a nurse. I come from a line of nurses. Both my grandmothers were nurses. My sister's a nurse practitioner. Look, all right? I want us to normalize that. Let me just bring up the video that I want to show you guys. Actually, I think I'm just gonna have to play the audio honestly, but it's okay. It's all right. We're gonna still, but y'all remember Shamari from Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's probably one of the people that you guys constantly bring up that you want to see come back. No, she's now saving lives. Okay, so she posted this on her socials in regards to this. Take a listen to what Shamari had to say.
I am going to my first day of orientation. I feel really great.
First of all, she looks so young and youthful. She is so pretty. First of all, she's also really, really talented singer. Part of me hates this because I think she's very talented. You remember her? She was on Encore. She was part of the group. She's such a talented singer. But I love this for the people that she's going to be helping.
Yeah, things are looking up. Got a job at K Hospital as a nurse extern. Yes.
Okay. What's your last name?
DeVoe.
DeVoe. Got you.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
All right. Do you have a badge already?
No.
Did you take a picture?
Yes, I sent it in.
Okay. So it should be on that back table.
Okay.
If not, then just come back out here and show me.
Okay, thank you.
So she's taking us inside of her first day. She's supposed to graduate with her master's, her MS in nursing come the summer. Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations to Shamari. I know CAMEO, she could do both, but when you're a nurse, that's a lot. That's a lot. But congratulations to her. She will always, she still tours with her group mate, Brandy from Black. So I'm sure she'll still do spot dates and things like that. But obviously she has a passion for this, that she went back to school. She's in the last stretch of her education. So congratulations to Shamari DeVoe. I think that was, I wanted to start normalizing, encouraging people to get back into professions like nursing and like, lawyering, paralegal, just more professional careers and not encouraging everyone to, do reality television. Okay. All right. I already told, there's no future in reality television, especially right now where you don't have a producer credit. You're not getting residuals. This is even worse than music. You're not even getting a residual. You're not getting pennies. You're not even getting that. All right. Jennifer, if you follow me on X, you can see what RFK said. I'm not going to repeat the stupidity of the man that's over our Department of Health. I don't even know if I can repeat it here on YouTube. Okay. Congratulations to Shamari. All right. I just wanted to start off with some good news. Thank you so much, Elijah, for the super chat. Elijah says, love ya. Thank you, Elijah. And thank you for being a member. Thank you for the love. I will take the love. M Lofo, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. M says, hey boo, been so busy. Glad to finally be able to catch a live this week. Life of a therapist. And we appreciate you. Normalize people going back to school and becoming therapists. We need more therapists. We need more therapists that are women. We need more therapists that are women of color. We need more therapists that are Black. Let's normalize. We have quite a few therapists, though, that follow the channel. I didn't realize that. I need help, y'all. No. All right. Before we get into the Kimora of it all, I do want to mention to you guys, if you missed it, we went live yesterday and we talked about Karen Huger's interview on the Sherri Shepherd show. Did you guys see our recap of that? I love the fact that, speaking of therapists, we had therapists call in. We've had people that have been affected by drunk drivers call in. It was interesting to see people's perspective on this. But if you missed it yesterday, Karen Huger did an interview with Sherri Shepherd on the Sherri Shepherd show. Sherri said, I'm going to go out with a bang. I'm going to get all the things, okay? So they sat down for an interview. And I have to say, after watching it and after hearing some of your perspectives for those that called in, it was really eye-opening that there still is not even accountability, because I think that's the word that people keep throwing out there. She's not showing accountability. She's not. It seems as if she really is not connected with having a problem, and that is the cornerstone of healing whatever your issue is when it comes to addiction. It has to start there. So, if you missed it, we did talk about this extensively yesterday in regards to Karen's interview with Sherri Shepherd. Someone also called in. I think it was Bernadette yesterday who called in. Karen makes it seem like she was ordained to go to prison. I wish her the best, because at the end of the day, she doesn't need to show accountability to me, to you, to Bravo. It's for herself. It's for her own health. It's for her children, her husband. Okay. But I guess we'll have to wait. And she also told Sherri, this has to be the last time that I talk about it. So she's putting her foot down. She's like, the next interview that I do, I won't be talking about this. But I'm sure your castmates who do not know a line or a boundary are going to bring this up. But okay. Excuse me. So Karen said she's done. She's done talking about it. All right. Yesterday, after we did that live, there was some breaking news, though, about Kandi and Todd's divorce. Just when I thought things were settling down a little bit, maybe they were working on having an amicable divorce. Apparently not, because now, according to TMZ, Kandi's accusing Todd of staying in her guest house. You remember the house, the property that she bought had 2 homes. And one of the houses on the home used to be where she would film, where she would host parties and things like that. So apparently that's where Todd has been staying and living there rent-free. So now she's asked the court to handle this situation because he's not contributing at all. He's not maintaining, he's not paying rent, he's not helping with the children. She threw 2 birthday parties for the kids. He didn't contribute to that. I can't believe it, y'all, but Mama Joyce was right. Angel says Todd is a scrub and a squatter, which is so interesting because Kandi is the writer of No Scrubs. I don't want no scrub. A scrub is a guy that can't get no love from me. Right? And it's made her very rich. Look, very rich. That song has made Kandi and Tiny very rich. Between the sample with Ed Sheeran he did for Shape of You, that made them even more rich. Okay? Just saying. So according to these court docs that TMZ got their hands on, I do find it interesting that the story came out yesterday. Do I think Kandi may have sent this to TMZ? I do. Yes, TMZ does their own digging and things like that. But I do believe that she wants the world to know, even though she has said in court that she would like to have this divorce sealed. However, it wouldn't, because I think she wanted more people on her side publicly. Just saying. Okay, Dina calls it, okay, vocals. That's one of my favorite songs too, with the rap. I don't know, remember Z100 sometimes wouldn't play Left Eye's rap? Excuse me, that's one of the best parts of the damn song. Anyway. Oh, wait a minute. So that made Left Eye's estate really rich too. Good for Left Eye. Rest in peace, Left Eye. So I do believe someone fished this story to TMZ so that we could get our hands on it and talk about it. So Kandi is like, she already said in court that Todd makes as much money as well, maybe not as much, but he makes his own money. He travels as much as she does because he was also making it seem like, oh, she's always away. She's on Broadway now. Kandi said that she is still flying back and forth between New York and Atlanta because she's here on Broadway in New York. But she's been flying back. That has to be a lot on Kandi. Kandi, are you flying commercial? Wait. Because I can't imagine, all that energy. I barely like going to the airport when I go on my trips. But to fly back, well, you know what? It's different when you have a kid, though. When you have kids. She's doing 8 shows a week, and she's flying back to Atlanta to be with the kids. Well, you also know, if you watch the video that I posted yesterday, that Funky Dineva spilled some tea about the other woman. I don't think it was just one, because according to People Magazine a few weeks ago, and according to my sources, it was more than one, allegedly. That there were more women that Todd was allegedly entertaining, and that's why Kandi was like, enough. She was like, enough. I wonder, because according to Funky Dineva, somebody's been sending information about Helen, that's the lady's name, Helen, to the blogs, okay? Including her description. So I'm wondering if Todd has the audacity to bring Helen or one of these other tricks to the guest house, because that has its own separate entrance. Do you think? And I'm sure Kandi probably has cameras and all kinds of things, and it wouldn't put it, because you Leo men, not the Leo women. Maybe you Leo women too. You Leo men can be petty. So it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me that he's bringing tricks over there. Sir, why are you still there? Because here's the thing, and I don't know if in their divorce settlement, very much like Portia's divorce prenuptial agreement, that she had a stipulation in there, like, if we end up getting a divorce, you have 30 days to get out, and I can stay in the home. I'm assuming they didn't have that in their prenuptial agreement because she never thought of that, because this is a property she bought before she got with Todd. Well, now Todd's in the guest house pretending like he's doing daddy daycare, because according to Kandi, that's all pretend. That's all for social media. That's not a real thing. She has a nanny that picks up the slack while she's not there. So Todd is just out there doing what? Let's be honest. What's her name from that season 6 that we recapped? For those that may have missed it, we did a whole rewind recap of season 6 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And a lot of tea was spilled that season. So it makes me wonder, did Todd play the long game? And I was never one of the people to jump on the bandwagon. Oh, Todd is a scrub. Todd was an opportunist. I was never one of those people. I was just like, okay. I mean, it looks like they built a lot of things together. But the way that this divorce is playing out, Todd, it seems like you're living up to what people have been saying about you. What Natalie said about him being an opportunist, he always puts himself in a position for a come up. OMG Steph said, I can't believe Mama Joyce was 100% correct. I mean, she is a Scorpio, and Scorpios got a little psychic thing to them. So maybe she knew. We all looked at her like she was being a hater. Season 6 is where we see all this play out, where she warns him. She's like, I got my eye on you. I got my eye on you. Ain't no mountain high enough. I really wonder what she's saying now. I really wonder. And Kandi has been asked by those of you that watch her Amazon Live, can we hear from Mama Joyce? Can Mama Joyce do a speak on it? And she's like, oh, no. Mama Joyce is not going to speak on it, because that's one thing about Scorpio mom. Shout out to people that got Scorpio moms. Who else got Scorpio mom? I got Scorpio dad too. Very different though. They're very different. My Scorpio mom, that stinger. If you need somebody on your side when you're going through something like this, you want to have a Scorpio mom. In general, Scorpio moms can be a lot for the most part. But when you need a Scorpio mom, yes. Not Mama Joyce for Traitors. Honestly, I would watch that, but I don't think, look, I don't know. Brady says, not Mama Joyce manifesting at Kempire. Just saying. We're going to be talking a lot about manifesting when we talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in just a second. So that is the latest update. If you missed my video, if you want the specific details of what was said in the court documents, be sure to check out the last video. Mods, if we can drop the link to my video from yesterday, that'd be greatly appreciated. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We're going to get into some more stuff. Hey, Jackie, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, Jackie, with the wherever you are, it looks nice and warm. I'm in New York where it's cold. I'm just itching for warmth. Jackie, thank you for the super chat. Let me shimmy. She sent $20. I'm also wearing my Are You Okay shirt on. Go get your Are You Okay stuff. You all asked for the mugs and things like that. That's now available as well. Let me just show you. The mugs are now available. Okay? Go get your mugs today and the travel mugs. I saw Angel got hers. She tagged me. I love it. Jackie says, we need to turn Texas blue, and as a bonus, we get Kempire. I will come down. I'm not even playing. I would just make a trip if I have to make a trip. Just saying. Do my own little tour. Okay? Be in the park somewhere holding court. All right? Mama Joyce on Traitors would be fire. I mean, it would be fire. A lot more fire than what's her face? Mama Kelce. America's mom? Maybe that other side of America that voted for MAGA. Not our America. Speaking of that, Mama Kelce said that they should have kept her on Traitors longer and maybe those ratings would do better. This is why I didn't want her on there in the first place. She think a little too highly of herself. She think a little too highly. I was so glad when they got rid of her. Thinks a little too highly of herself. Okay? Foxy just dropped the video about Kandi and Todd in the chat, y'all. So for those that want to see it. Hey, your girl Pay. I can't even bring that up just because of what you said. America's emphasis with the K. Mom. You're right. Anyway, since we're talking about Traitors, I'll talk about Traitors now because I will say this. After Candace left, and I know I see a lot of the Bravo fans are saying, well, without Housewives, the show's not entertaining. That, to me, that's not it. Without interesting personalities, it's not entertaining. That's the thing. But I also understand the way that this game works. Sometimes that's how it ends up. This is not the first time where you get towards the end and it's lackluster. Last season's ending was lackluster after some prime people were gone. So I'm not going to say it's just because of Housewives. They got rid of a lot of the gamers that would have made this game interesting too, because I think I would be interested in watching gamers play this. Housewives also add a lot of personality as well. Everyone already said last week that after Candace left that they weren't watching anymore. So for those that didn't watch last night's episode, you didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. Exactly. Mr. Melon Magic says, plus all of them are slow. Meaning like the faithfuls do not know what they're doing. They're getting played by Rob. All right? They just filmed the reunion in Los Angeles yesterday as well. I got some tea about that reunion. Apparently Lisa Rinna and Colton go at it at the reunion. So Colton was there. Colton was definitely at the reunion. I also found out whom may have won Traitors. Some of it might surprise you, or some of you may not be surprised. But I'll just say this, because I now know I'm really not that interested. So you may have seen last week that Rob decided that he would recruit Eric as a traitor. Eric is a mess. At the end of this week's episode, okay, spoiler alert. If you were still here, I don't know why. If you didn't want spoilers. Eric is now being sniffed out by Kristen. Kristen now finally has woken up, but she doesn't even realize, because you remember what she said last week about Rob. That sweet boy. Y'all are so crazy with this. I think the reason why Rob is playing such a great game, great, I'm going to put in quotes, is because you guys are enamored by whiteness. You're enamored by good looks. All of them. Traitors is a perfect case study of unconscious bias, conscious bias, social dynamics. It's very interesting. All the black people were taken out very quickly. I saw a video a couple of weeks ago about looking at the dynamics of how people of color and women are taken out of the UK version of Traitors very early on too. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. What is not interesting is watching these faithfuls be so terrible at this game. They got rid of Steven. Steven left with, he was just like, y'all don't know what y'all doing. You guys don't know what you're doing. Their focus was on Johnny, which I kind of understand. Okay, I kind of understand why they might think Johnny a little bit because of the association with Candace, but they refuse. They refuse to even consider Rob. Candace gave them all of it. They're leaning on Candace talking about, oh, Johnny should get a shield. Johnny should get a shield. But when she voted for Rob last week, the previous week, and then voted for him again this week, y'all didn't wise up at all? I can't. So whoever wins, I don't care at this particular point. I don't care. But I don't think Eric is going to last long because the minute he becomes a traitor, he's like, he doesn't know what to do. He's all of a sudden really quiet. But here we are. Exactly. Swola says they are blindly following Rob. And I know a lot of people say Rob's game is really good. I'm not saying Rob's game is bad, but Rob is also getting away with murder. Technically. Getting away with murder for a variety of different reasons. And Kristen just proved that last week when she says, oh, Rob, not that sweet boy. This game is called Traitors. Are you an idiot? I'm sorry. I don't mean to say that to you, Kristen. I actually do like Kristen. But the game is called Traitors. That's the whole point. The people that you would not suspect. Oh, Mr. Melloman, I hate they spoiled it for you. I didn't care. I didn't care at this point. I was just like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Eric is going to be used as a shield for Rob. I'm not saying that's what happens. That's what it feels like because by the end of this week's episode, it's very clear now Kristen's on to Eric and his magical ears. All right? Mary says Mother Padma would never. I just don't understand how she's like, oh, that sweet boy, he could never. The game is called Traitors. What if he was chosen to be a traitor? He would have to do it. I looked at her like, not that sweet boy. First of all, he's a man. Yeah. Storm, hey Storm, long time no see. Storm says, less than smart group of faithfuls. This is why I kind of like watching the civilian version because you don't know what to expect from any of them. There are going to be people that are going to just be good and smart at this game. And then sometimes you do get a collective. Here's the thing. This celebrity version that we're watching, I already told you, a lot of them are just playing the game to be on television and to, they got a contract already. They got paid. They're not really playing for the money. Some of them are. They're not really playing for the money. And I hear that Rob comes from money, so he's not really playing for the money either. All right. Oh, thank you, Anik. Anik says, Kempire, you can become an audio book narrator. You have the perfect voice for it. Well, thank you. I've thought about it. Maybe the next, it's not easy work talking like that for a book. Like here, it's easy, but perfecting in reading, that's a whole other thing. Your girl Pepe says, I love Kristen, but that made me mad. Same. Mary says Canada and UK civilian are better. Yeah. But they are filming a civilian version of Traitors for the US. They haven't locked down on their cast yet. There's still another month until they lock down their cast. Don't ask me to do it. I'm not doing it. Okay. The next time you guys see me on television is not going to be on reality television. I'm just saying. All right. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. All right. Let me say thank you. Nicole, thank you so much for super chatting for being a member. Nicole says Mama Joyce is getting her new wig line now. I wonder if we're going to see any of this play out on Next Gen at all. Thank you so much, El Sada. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me shimmy. I can't shimmy too much because I'm still suffering a little bit from the neck stuff. And I just had Pilates. I finally made a live. I'm at the end of RN school, so I catch up around. I catch up around with you around 1 and 2 a.m. Love you. Did you just see we were just talking about people becoming nurses? We were just talking about Shamari DeVoe. Congratulations. Oh, not you listening, catching up with us at 1 and 2 a.m. God bless. Woo. Keep us posted when you graduate. Congratulations. All right. Canada season. You know, I haven't watched Traitors Canada. Is that available on Peacock? I haven't seen that come up. Okay. But anyway, I've digressed. So there's nothing else that I really want to say about Traitors this week. Johnny and Tara finally admitted that they are bestie Westies. I don't know why they felt like that was a good scenario for them not to tell people. Now people are looking at them with the side eyes. Like, why didn't you tell us this before? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so Steven was banished. Eric is now under suspicion from Kristen. Excuse me. All right, let's move on from there. Okay, let me talk about the Valley Persian stuff. For those that don't know, we've been recapping Valley Persian stuff. I will be adding timestamps. Okay? OMG. I have a couple of things that I want to say. I don't have a lot. Did you guys see Reza on Watch What Happens Live? I had to turn it off. He was doing way too much. He was loud. He was belligerent. I know he's normally that way, but it felt like a lot watching him on Watch What Happens Live. Even Andy seemed a little annoyed. Did anyone watch it? I know we don't watch What Happens Live unless we really have to. But yeah. So Gonessa now is apparently going to get this place on lease for $14,500 a month. And she's going to ask Dennis. Yes, Dennis, the one that she was all dramatic about, and she didn't want to, she was mad at him because he hooked up with her girlfriend, Paulina, Mike's ex. They're still together, apparently. And she's been living off her father for a very long time, too. So she's going from living off her father to now finding another man to live off of? Foxy said Reza said some strange things. I couldn't even watch it. I was just like, I had it on in the background as I was getting ready for the live. And I was like, I got to turn this off. He's like annoying. So I know if I was annoyed just listening to him, that energy in front of Andy probably was like, ugh. All right. So Gigi wants to get this new place that she can't afford. And she reveals to the group, her friends, Reza and Mercedes, that she's going to ask Dennis for the $3,000 to help her a month. Girl. What? I can't with Gigi. Gigi has not grown up in the how many years that we've seen her on reality television. I'm Team Layla at this particular point, her sister. I'm Team her because you are a spoiled, entitled brat with anger management issues. I can't. So Cute Potato says, so she's broke? I don't think she's broke. I think she just can't afford a $14,000 a month place. She obviously makes money from the weed business she has. She has that toy business. And I'm sure she has a podcast, I'm sure. All of them have podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, Mercedes, are you the one taking care of the family? Look, I don't know if this divorce between her and Tommy is real. I'm not sure. Because I feel like there is love between them. I know it's hard to see love in a lot of these relationships. But I feel like there's love between them. And I love how he loves his son, but I'm thinking to myself, is this a Kandi and Todd situation? She's breaking her back to pay the bills while he's trying to start a podcast network? Huh? So I'm not too sure about at least the financial dynamic, because finances is the number one reason for divorce. So it wouldn't shock me that could be the real reason. But it also feels like during the season, and I don't know if anyone else is watching the Valley Persian style, but it also feels like Mercedes is choosing reality television and Reza and Gigi's friendship over her marriage. Because the whole reason that Tommy is not good with Reza is because he doesn't like how Reza speaks to you, his wife. So I just don't understand. Are you choosing reality television? I mean, there's a check, Because then I think to myself, well, you're not bringing in the funds. You're trying to start this podcast network, and she has to sell property that's not selling yet. So she also has to do reality television. So she has to be good with Reza. So then I think to myself, well, here's the thing. I'm like twerking on a fence because part of me understands what she's trying to do. But at the same time, I do feel like Tommy loves Mercedes. He has a weird way of showing it. I know. I'm not saying that he's perfect, y'all. I'm not saying that he can't be rough. Maybe because I'm from New York and I know a lot of guys like him, but I also see the love that he has for Mercedes, that he has for his son, and for his family. I don't really see the trouble in this relationship for them to be filing for divorce. But again, it's early in the season. I think the real problem is Reza. But you see in this week's episode, Reza does send a text to Tommy. And Tommy did respond. And Tommy said maybe after filming, they could sit down and have a conversation. I get it. Tommy's not playing those games. Tommy is from New York. There's just things about New York. I know Tommy probably hates it in LA. He probably loves the weather, but he probably hates how fake people can be. Because he's like, I'm not going to do this for the cameras. Once things wrap, we can have a conversation. Because Tommy reveals that he went through depression after that situation with Reza. There was the restraining order. He had to go to anger management. His life was turned upside down. I know. He did what he did. He went to Reza's house and tossed a couple of plants. Look. He said, I did that instead of doing it to Reza. Well, okay. Ew, wait a second, Storm. Ew. Storm says, what's wild is Reza and Mercedes had hooked up when they were younger. What? Tai Wu talked about it on early seasons of Shots. Why don't I remember that? Or maybe I did. And maybe because Reza's gay now, so then there's that. Desiree says, the cussing Tommy would have gotten from me. Ooh. Okay. Deborah says, the problem is the way that he talks to his wife. Yeah, he's rough. He's definitely rough. I just don't feel like that's the issue. I think at least the way she's describing it this season, the issue for her is that he's not willing to come around the friends. She also talks about in their podcast that they do together, that's where they're really able to open up and be vulnerable and communicate with each other. I'm like, okay. But I also feel like Mercedes is choosing reality television. She's choosing Reza and Gigi over her family and her marriage. But then part of me can't blame her for choosing them over her family and her marriage because Tommy is not bringing home the bacon. Okay? So part of me is sort of like, well, I still have to work. And so that means I have to be, because remember, now follow me, because we were just talking about this at the top of the show. We were just talking about how people prioritize reality television, and that's not a place to, for all Mercedes knows, this could be her one and only season. We don't know if the show's going to get picked up again. So people put a lot of value in reality television when there really is no substantial security in reality television. They probably always thought that Shots of Sunset would never get canceled, especially the season that they got canceled. Their ratings weren't low. All right, moving on from there. Sky. I know I've defended Sky before, y'all, but I think I'm over Sky at this particular point. I'm over Sky at this particular point. She is entitled. She is a brat. I still don't like how Reza spoke to her, but maybe she needed that. She needed that because the way she spoke to her husband, she says, you know, I'm not even mad at Reza or Tannen. I'm mad at you, her husband, because he didn't defend her when they were all attacking her. I thought they had gotten over their stuff because he apologized. He gets real crunk with her at this dinner table. He gets real crunk with her. She's a brat, though. She doesn't want to live in the valley. The way she was speaking with Tannen, they had their sit down, and she still doesn't get it. So Tannen's just like, you know what? I can be cordial, but I don't think our friendship is ever going to be the same. And they used to be best friends. I'm over Sky, though. But again, if we're producing a reality television, everyone needs a villain. Because who else would they be arguing with? Who else were they arguing with? But now she's avoiding the group. She doesn't want to be around the group. She's a brat, though. But I think she's always been a brat. He's probably been used to this. He literally says, you never have my back. I always have to have your back. And I could see that she's probably never had his back, but she expects him to always have her back. Savannah says, I'm Team Sky. I understand, Savannah, because up until this week, not that I was Team Sky, but I was sort of like, I kind of get it when it comes to this group. But anyway, Trini says that she acts like she grew up rich. Me too. Look, she lives a pretty good life. Manifestation. Okay, she's trying to manifest even better life for herself. I can't be mad at it. Oh, Savannah says he's an old man with a young wife. He owes her. Excuse me? Excuse me, Savannah? Savannah said he's an old man with a young wife. He is quite older than everyone else. It's kind of interesting to see him around these younger folks. Amir. You know we love Amir and we love Natasha. We love their relationship. How are you guys feeling, though, about them talking about having a fourth child? She was just like, he's like, well, I'm not saying that we have to have a fourth child, but she's also asking that he get a vasectomy. He's like, well, you can go on birth control. And she's like, I don't want to do that. I'm very conscious about what I put into my body. I don't want to do that. She said, you can get a vasectomy. He's like, there are risks for a vasectomy and I'll go under the knife and that's surgery. And she's like, I had 3 C-sections. I had 3 C-sections. And it's longer to heal after a C-section than a regular natural childbirth. So I'm Team Natasha on this one, Amir. I was riding with you up until this week, Amir. I've really shifted this week. Amir, go get your vasectomy. He's like, oh, we could wear condoms. He's like, but we're married. Amir, go get the vasectomy because the vasectomy can be reversed. Go, sir. All right? Because it sounds like you don't want to do it because you're thinking about the future. Now she's going to feel even more insecure. Yeah, she had 3 C-sections. Oof, girl. Tequila, is that your real name? Tequila says, Amir needs to get a vasectomy. She did her part. It's an outpatient procedure. Exactly. Am I going to do it? I don't need to do it. There ain't nobody getting a risk of getting pregnant. And a vasectomy can be reversed. All right. Cupid said, what are the risks of a vasectomy? I'm not a doctor, but from what I've heard, it's very low risk. Ooh, very fiery says the vasectomy debacle. I thought Amir was absolutely clueless little boy, sexist. Yeah, that's where Amir lost me this week in regards to it. You better go. I'm sure by now he's probably had the vasectomy. Just saying. Unless he wants to have more kids. But she says she doesn't want to have any more kids. They have 3 kids. Only if you can afford it. And when I say you can afford it, meaning that you can afford us getting additional help too. Because I'm not taking care of all these kids. And the fact that Natasha's able to look like, not haggardly after having 3 kids and she's got everything snatched together. She still looks like she's got the household together. She's like, 4 kids would be too much. Delicious says never say never, Kemp. What are you trying to say? I don't know. Deshup says minimal risk. He'll be okay. I think the larger issue is the fact that he would never be able to procreate again, which makes me look at him with the side of what are you trying to do? Mr. Melon Magic wants to defend Amir. He says a vasectomy is hard to be reversed though, because after a certain time, you don't regain certain things. Well, as long as it doesn't affect how that area functions, I don't see the problem. You got 3 kids and you have embryos. What happened to those embryos? No, the embryos are with his first wife. But what I'm saying is like you have opportunity. If you and homegirl ended up breaking up, you still have an opportunity if you really wanted to. I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't know what they did with the other embryos. Okay. I know that Bubblegum says you can reverse a vasectomy, but you won't. But that won't mean you can always conceive. But do you understand why Natasha is now looking at him with the side eye? Like, why are you worried about having another baby with someone else? Wave Key says, how are you going to impregnate your lavender wife? At 95? I know men can procreate forever for the most part, but I wasn't trying to procreate at 95. Just that. Okay. I was not trying to procreate at 95. All right. Let's move on. I'm just getting through these stories. Guys. If you're just joining us, this is our Friday live where we talk about a bunch of different reality television and pop culture stories. I will be adding the timestamps after the live at some particular point. Hey, just me, period, dot. I see you watching on X. Thank you for being here. Shout out to everyone watching on X. We see you guys. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much for the love, Elijah, and for being a member. We appreciate your support. Brown sugar babe. I get high off of love, don't know how to behave. Sorry. Brown sugar babe says, I'm not mad at Tommy for still having issues with Reza. MJ almost died giving birth, and the nasty things he said about MJ online and on Shaz. And apparently, if you saw the video we did a couple of weeks ago about Reza and some of the things he's been saying online to other people that we don't know, but other women, he hasn't changed. And we saw the way that he spoke to Sky. And I know people don't like Sky, but why are you talking to a woman like that? Mind your business. Okay? Not Islinger said, who wants 95-year-old? Some people, if I'm a billionaire, you're going to want that. Island girl. When I'm a billionaire at 95, you're going to be like, well, I might want it now. All right. Even if the lavender wife is Kelly Rowland, even if it's her, even if it's Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland and I are the same age. If I'm 95 and she's 95, who's having babies? I know she don't look like she aged, but okay. All right. Reza and Jill Zarin are friends. Oh, I know. I also saw the video of Kelly Dodd trying to defend Jill Zarin. Apparently, Jill Zarin was trying to have Kelly Dodd on that new Golden Life show too. Glad it all worked out for us. Glad it all worked out for us. Word on the street, Jill Zarin is devastated, y'all, by the reaction of her losing her job. She's not devastated by people and what they have to say about her racist comments. She's devastated that she was fired from the Golden Life. Jill, you should have just kept quiet, girl. You should have just kept quiet. Stupid. Exactly. What does it say? Burned 87 says, Reza would never be my friend again. Ever. That's why I said, I think Mercedes has been playing the long game because she knows after Shahs of Sunset was canceled that they've been talking about doing some new iteration with the OGs. And I feel like that's the only reason why she's still friends with him. Even though they had that little soft moment in this week's episode where Reza wants to change his father's ashes into a piece of jewelry. I did laugh to myself though when Mercedes asked about 28,000 about the price, and she was like 28,000, and Reza was just like, I mean, for 28,000, I could bring him back. I did laugh. I'm not gonna say like Reza's not good television. I'm not gonna say that, but he's also disgusting television at the same time. It's only a matter of time. Mark my words. Mark this day and time. Friday the 13th, February. Reza will say or do something that people will be calling out in the future. Just saying. Latanya says, where's the violin? It's right here. It's just not working. Its wire is broken. It's here. I know. It was a cute idea, but I might have to get a real violin in here. Exactly. Akima says you can't retract racism. And she still has not issued an apology. That's the thing. She has not issued an apology. She had issued an excuse. And then she's like, I took it down. I'm human. At this particular point, Jill Zarin still has not issued an apology to the people that she offended. Okay? All right. Wait, hold on. V-Light says, I didn't even think about that. V-Light says, I thought about Brooke, because Brooke told me about the 28,000 that you guys always have a running joke in regards to Clarissa. 28,000. I can't. Yeah, that's funny. 28,000. All right, guys, let's move on from there. Let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. If you're just joining us, this is our special Friday live. Be sure to like the video if you're watching the replay of this. Hopefully, by this particular point, I've added the timestamps. If not, you'll be okay. All right, I have other things to do. All right, it's Friday. It's Valentine's Day. Okay. I also have a live at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Right? I have an 8 p.m. Eastern live. So if you have a dating story, you have a question in regards to dating, be sure to call in. I'll be dropping the calling for our members first tonight and for today, for those that want to call in and share their thoughts on anything that we're talking about. Okay. All right. Let's go live. All right. Let me say thank you. Okay. I said thank you for that. All right. Let's move on. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Who's watching? Well, the ratings have gone up this week. They've had their highest ratings. Last week's episode was their highest ratings this season. I don't know who's watching because I definitely can tell you social media is not talking about this show. There's no viral moments. I did see that they released the mid-season trailer, and I was like, wait, we got the mid-season trailer? Damn. This has been probably their worst season in such a long time. Especially when it comes to social media. I don't see anyone really, like here and there, I'll see little things. But for the most part, no one is talking about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm surprised I'm still talking about it. The only reason why I'm still talking about it is because we get to talk about other stuff. And I'm not going to even be here long talking about this. Rachel invites Dorit to the Hamptons at the top of this episode. Dorit is such a pick-me. Dorit is so fake. Did anyone else throw up in your mouth when Rachel calls to invite her to the Hamptons? She's like, what is it? Yes. I don't care. Yes. And I'm thinking to myself, you are such a pick-me. You are such a social climber. Bose wants to call Amanda Nouveau Riche, and she is. Don't get me wrong. But the correlation between Amanda and Dorit, they are the same person. Has anyone noticed that? I've said it before. They are literally the same person. They both are nouveau riche. New money. Here's the thing that I'm not loving about this season. Amanda, I get it why people will not like Amanda, but very much like Sky on the Valley Persian style, you need a personality like this. Not a personality that you're necessarily going to love, but to get people talking. This entire cast seems to be against Amanda. And I find it to be interesting that no one sees that. Well, I think we see that. But everyone seems to be making such a big deal about what Amanda said about Dorit's marriage, her divorce. But when they keep playing back what Amanda said, I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not. It feels like they wanted to have some sort of conflict with the new girl. And everyone is chiming in on it. I saw Bose posted a video because everyone, I'm guessing she probably saw people saying, why is it that they don't understand what Amanda's explaining in regards to conflict? So Bose did a whole video trying to explain what conflict and this or that is. And I'm like to myself, oh, you must be receiving the backlash. The fact that you felt like you needed to do a video about that portion of the episode. I thought that was interesting, but that's me. So at the top of the episode, Rachel calls Dorit. I'm not loving Rachel either, y'all. She's giving very performative too. I do feel like she's been able to come into this cast very smoothly, but the more I watch her navigate this cast, I'm like, you're a mean girl. You're a mean girl too. All right. So Dorit is like, oh my gosh, yes. She's just like, I'll make whatever happens. I'm going to the Hamptons. I don't care that Kyle is going to go either. All right. Rachel keeps bringing up Hot Girl Summer. And every time she does, I roll my eyes. I was like, Hot Girl Summer? When did that song come out, y'all? It wasn't 2 summers ago, no matter what the Kyle's assistant said. That was at least 4 or 5 summers ago. It was during the pandemic that Hot Girl Summer was a thing. Rachel keeps saying Hot Girl Summer, hot Girl Summer. I'm having my Hot Girl Summer. For someone that's supposed to be on trend, Mm-mm. Nope. 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 All right. So then we have the scene that I already told you that I was not looking forward to. Dorit sits down for a conversation with Mauricio. And I said, why are we having this scene? Okay. Why are we having this scene? And it landed the exact way I thought it would land. Mauricio is like, I've seen the text messages, Dorit. He's been trying to make a schedule with you. I've seen it. I've seen all of your responses. I've seen his responses. And Dorit starts going through her phone like, no, Mauricio, there are things that you're missing. There are things that you're missing. And then she's going through the text message and she doesn't have any receipt. And Mauricio's like, I've seen the text message where he's trying to make a schedule, where he's like, talking about the finances. And Mauricio is, I don't know what she expected from the scene, that Mauricio was going to lie for her. I thought that was really interesting. But Mauricio did not seem fazed. But I also understand that Mauricio is Westies with PK. So I wouldn't expect him to not have PK's back. But all the things that Mauricio said was very interesting to me, because I was like, oh, wait a minute. Mauricio is not just protecting PK to protect PK. He's saying, I'm actually looking at the text messages, Dorit. And Dorit's response was so just very surface. She's like, no, Mauricio, no. He's not responding. He's not telling me anything about the finances. He's like, I've seen it. He sent you a spreadsheet. And I'm just like, uh-oh. Okay. So Mo says that that PK is he's not over drinking. He says when he goes out, I didn't know that PK was drinking again, because he says if they go out with each other, he'll have a glass of wine, but he's not over drinking. I'm not going to talk about his drinking in regards to that, but apparently Dorit is, because she says Mauricio, PK stopped drinking for a year because he needed to stop drinking. And I was like, wait, is she trying to say because he's an alcoholic, but she doesn't want to say that he's an alcoholic? Look, exactly. K-Baby says Dorit wants to play victim. I don't know what she suspected from this conversation. I felt like this conversation wasn't needed, especially because there are professional mediators that could garner, a better working relationship with your soon-to-be ex-husband. You wanted to have a scene. That's what you wanted to have. And this just goes back to what people have always said about this cast in Beverly Hills. They are always pre-producing their own moments. Exactly. Miss Esquire says, not Mo being PK's lawyer in this divorce. That's what it was giving. That was definitely what it was giving. But all right. So we had that pointless conversation. Here's another pointless conversation. Sutton FaceTimes with her daughter, who looks very much like Sutton, yet with brown hair. And Sutton's storyline this season, hear me out, y'all, because I'm going to be fair. Because there are women that do struggle with changing their last name. They want to have the same last name as their children. That is a real issue for some women, and they probably will relate to it. But it feels like every season there's this new story that Sutton comes up with. And I will give it to Sutton. On some level, some people will be like, you know what? That's not a bad storyline. If you're going to create a storyline, that's not a bad storyline. Okay? It's better than her just getting a horse. Just saying. But Sutton reveals to her daughter that, the church, they sent this paperwork about your father and I, we're now not married in the eyes. Our marriage never happened in the eyes of the church. And they sent it as Mama Brown and Daddy Strack. So her daughter just like cut to the chase. Are you thinking about changing your name? And she's like, yeah, well, maybe. But I just want you to know that doesn't make me any less your mom. She's like, of course not. Of course not. Duh. But then I had to think to myself, because I'm trying to be fair. There are some women that do struggle with that in regards to changing their last name because they don't want to feel separated from their children. it just feels like convenient timing that this is her storyline for the season. I don't know if I even believe that her ex sent that annulment recently. I think they definitely probably got annulled, but I'm pretty sure he probably sent that a while ago. But she decided that was going to be her storyline this season. And I'm just like, okay. Okay, Sutton. That's her storyline. She's changing her name. Name them. She's changing her name from Sutton Strack to Sutton Brown. Okay, Sutton. Her daughter seems so confused. She's like, Mom, who cares? You're still my mom. It's not going to change anything. Okay, baby says, these kids are young adults. They don't care. Even if they were young, they probably wouldn't care. Look, Lorena says, my mother-in-law been divorced over 30 years and hates that man, but still has his last name. I think some people just keep the last name, not necessarily because of anything besides just the paperwork of it all. They don't want to deal with the paperwork of it all. Right? Jennifer says, I live for your Sutton impersonations. I don't even think it's that good. I don't even care enough this week to put any real emphasis into Sutton Strack this week. So Sutton's going to change her last name, and she wanted to tell her daughter. Her daughter's like, go ahead, Mom. I don't care. You're still my mom. Still mommy. All right. The ladies start getting ready for their trip. Dorit, Rachel, and Kyle. Dorit's figuring out all her outfits for this Hamptons weekend, and she sees her Hermes $11,000 bag, and she's like, oh, baby, mwah. And I know some of you watch Beverly Hills because of stuff like this, and I'm just looking at this like, this lady don't got a pot to piss in, and she kissing an $11,000 bag. Okay. Kyle and her assistant are getting her ready for the Hot Girl Summer trip, and her assistant's like, I thought Hot Girl Summer was like two summers ago. Kyle's like, I thought so too, but Rachel keeps saying it. Rachel keeps saying it. I wonder why Erica wasn't invited. OMG, Steph. That could have been production. Production could have been like, let's set up a trip for you, Eric, for the other ladies. I don't think it was anything intentional from Rachel. Just keep that in mind. Very much like what we saw on Real Housewives of Potomac when Jazzy was just like, oh, I thought I was going to stay at your house. And she was like, oh, it just worked out that it couldn't be that way. I think that was intentional from production side. Okay. So all the women's are headed to the Hamptons. They head to the Hamptons and we meet a couple of Rachel's friends. We also see Rachel's sister. That must be a thing in Rachel's family, just the long, stringy, damaged looking hair? Because her and her sister got both. They think that looks good? I think Rachel would look so much better if she, first of all, cut that hair. Maybe shoulder length. Got a good hot oil treatment. That hair. But okay. Her and her sister, they got the same kind of hair too. Look unhealthy, but anyway, that's just me. Hold on, wait a second. Heather Locklear says, Kemp, can I donate my Sutton tote that I purchased at BravoCon? She signed it, added to your club. Oh, you would add it to the clubhouse, Heather Locklear? You can. You can. I'm going to sage the hell out of it, though. Send it to the P.O. Box. The P.O. Box is in the description. All right, y'all want to send stuff to my clubhouse? I'm about to have an organizer come in here and help me set this office space up better, y'all. But stay tuned. Yes, come on. There's this says, Kempire never change. You say the things. Yes, exactly. Elle says some Keristas. Is that how you pronounce it? Keristas. She needs a good hot oil treatment. Oh, thank you, Theresa says, Kempire never change. You say all the things. All right. But anyway. So here's the thing. When they're all packing for this trip, one of the things that I noticed about Rachel, I feel like Rachel is performative. I get it. Some of you like her. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. I like her for some things, but I've noticed some things too that I'm just like, you're a little performative. Like you're doing certain things for the cameras. And because remember, she has years of doing reality television. Okay. So she meets with her assistant, and she's walking out after talking about her style for the Hamptons. And I know this is production asking her to do these things because she's supposed to be like a stylist and things like that. So as she's walking out the room, she's like, 6 bags. You think that's too much for a weekend in the Hamptons? Rachel, if you don't just go on somewhere. Rachel, go on somewhere. Miss Esquire says, I'm a Virgo. I will organize your space for free. I know quite a few Virgos that would. I just don't want to be annoyed in the process. So I'm willing to pay. I don't think Miss Esquire would annoy me, though. But you also in Tennessee. So that's not going to work. All right. It honestly doesn't need a lot of work, though. I'll just say that. All right. Moving on from there. Let's get to things. All right. So they travel to the Hamptons. They're in the Hamptons with Rachel's friends. They see Donna Karen. They're at one particular, remember Kyle and Dorit had their little falling out, so they haven't really talked about their issues. Kyle does eventually ask Dorit, how was your conversation with Mauricio? And she's just like, it was, he clearly came in there with a script. And they flash to Mauricio calling Kyle and telling Kyle what happened. I'm siding with Mauricio on this one. I believe Mauricio because he came with facts of the situation. He's like, I've seen the text messages. I've seen the spreadsheets. And her response was a non-response. If she had a solid response, I'd be like, well, no, Dorit, she gave a solid response. According to Dorit, she had to go into mediation just so she can get away for the weekend so he would have the kids. And he's refusing to talk about the financials. She said the financials were redacted, so she doesn't know what's in certain accounts. That's weird to me, Dorit. So you've been with this man, and you got with this man when he was bankrupt. But I guess because you had the lifestyle, you didn't care about the finances or how the finances were obtained, as long as you were getting the bags and the things. So you have no idea what's in any of these bank accounts, which is not unusual. Hence why Sutton was saying you need to get a forensic accountant, because she found out a bunch of accounts that she didn't even realize. But do I think that she didn't know any of the accounts? I don't know if I believe that. I definitely think that Sutton knew some of those accounts. She just didn't know she had a baseball team. Okay. Right? Miss Esquire says, I am so mad at Dorit for making me believe a man. But I feel like Mauricio's doing a little too much reality television for a serious real estate man that's doing billions of dollars of real estate. I'm just like, but okay, fine, whatever. He's been in reality television for years, but fine. Exactly. Desiree says Dorit wants blind loyalty. And I hate the fact, here's the thing too, Miss Esquire. I also hate the fact that Dorit is making me side with Kyle. I know. Week after week, I'm like, I kind of see Kyle's point. I think Kyle should just not get involved at all and not speak her mind on it. But I get Kyle's point. You shouldn't be talking about your divorce. You shouldn't be, saying what you're saying about PK on a reality show. It's going to hurt you. But fine. Let's move on from there. Let's get to this manifestation party that Amanda's hosting. So a couple of things. Amanda is annoying. I'm not going to take that away from anyone. Yes. Amanda, you also take a risk by bringing your business on this reality show, very much like we were talking about with Angel over there in Potomac. You take a risk because now they're trying to make it seem like your business is a scam, that you're scamming people, that your manifestation, mind you, manifestation is such a huge business now on social media. So Amanda is not the only one talking about manifestation. And I believe in manifestation. Okay. So she's hosting this manifestation party. She's inviting all the people over. Bose is dead set on not liking Amanda, but I find it interesting. Apparently Bose, according to Amanda, asked Amanda how to get people to buy her workshop, because Amanda has a workshop that she does very well with. But apparently Bose has a workshop too that no one's buying. Bose has a workshop that no one's buying. And apparently she asked Amanda for her thoughts on it. And for those that think that Amanda quit mid-season, Andy Cohen and Amanda are saying that that's not true. So apparently Bose has her own workshop that she's trying to hawk that no one's interested in. See this? The boss, what is it called? The badass workshop. So apparently she has her own workshop, which is so interesting. And you see how old this workshop is. It's still in her link tree on socials. You can tell because she looks very different in this picture, Bose. And when you scroll down, the workshop includes, okay, let me just tell you, we're going to go through it. The workshop. So she has different tiers. You're welcome, Bose. Okay, you're welcome. We're giving you a little promo. Mary says, woo, 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 Bose. So it seems like Bose, and look, we're not going to take away from Bose's career. Bose has been in the executive suite, but we've exposed some of that from allegations, alleged, stuff. Dare I say she's done her own little, Amanda-ing in her career, okay? Coming into spaces saying you're going to offer one thing and giving another, and then only being there for 2-3 years. That's why I said don't expect to see her, past another season. Okay? So Bose in what she offers, this is her own workshop. Okay? She has her own workshop. Which I'm sure, maybe, look, she might say, I actually have steps on how to be a boss. Okay. So Bose says she has different levels, okay? So there's super sessions, the urgent life, that's $50. She has level 1, the badass workshop, that's $100. That's all 5 sessions. Then she has level 2, the badass workshop, $150, all 5 sessions. Plus you get unlimited replays of all recorded sessions. Then the whole damn thing, the badass workshop, $250, all 10 sessions plus a holiday bonus session and the urgent life super session. Full access to all 10 sessions from levels 1 and 2, full access to the bonus holiday session, full access to the urgent life super session, unlimited replays of all recorded sessions. I'll tell you what these sessions include. Okay. So level 1 working lessons or sessions. 1, bring the badass. Learn to identify your unique talents and show up as your full self. I just want to say this. Some of what you're going to read here is very, very much like what Amanda's talking about. Okay. Boardroom baddie is part 2. Find your voice to create the career you want and be loud about it. She's good at that. Amen. Get that money, honey. How to ask, get, make, and do the most. 4, spirit, mind, and body wellness. Condition your inner corporate athlete to play the long game. Okay. 5, live life urgently. Matt, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Number 5. Manifest the lessons in section 1-4 into your future self right now. Are you mad at Amanda because this did not kick off for you, Bose? Hold on, wait a minute, Bosema St. John. Y'all see this? And this is in lesson 1, live life urgently. Manifest the lessons in section 1-4 into your future self right now. Not manifest. Let's see what these other levels are talking about. Level 2 working lessons. Build your personal brand. Get the structure for creating a name for yourself in the world, in your industry, and for your audience. The butterfly effect. Make your small moves gather strength to create big impact. The art of the side hustle. Invent and manage the multiple roles you have. Or here's the thing. I told you guys this last season. Bosema came on here to get all of you to start coming to her self-help workshops. I told you this last season. Last season, I said she came on here because she wanted to, this is the audience she wants to reach. Women. She wanted to reach women. So she said, I'm going to get on the show, which is smart. But you have to be likable. And I don't think that Bose, yes, there are people that like Bose. People are like, yeah, I like Bose. She's a boss lady. But for the most part, she came across unlikable. And I don't think it's landed even in her second season. One of the lessons that should be in the badass workshop is that you got to be likable. And apparently she is not. because I didn't even know she had this workshop situation. So according to Amanda, she was just like, Bosom of St. John was, crying to me that her workshop wasn't selling. But you notice all the things that all these little side comments about Amanda. And look, some of those side comments can be true. The whole, Matt, where she calls herself the money queen, that's very nouveau riche. That's very tacky. The Matt didn't even look cute. I'm just like, she ordered it from Etsy. And I feel like you can order better mats from Etsy. And I was just like, that looks a little cheap. But okay. But I definitely believe in manifestation. I definitely do. But this manifestation party, they were all just coming for Amanda. And look, do I think Amanda is just not equipped for how housewives normally interact and conflict and all that stuff? In a lot of ways. But I found it rich from Sutton saying to Amanda that you were talking about someone's marriage. That's something. That's not nothing. When they keep flashing back to what Amanda said about the marriage, it wasn't that deep. And remember, Sutton was the one to bring the information to Dorit, who you compared pockets to last season. Now, I felt like what Sutton said was a whole 10,000 times worse than what Amanda said. I mean, Sutton has said so many things. And I find it rich that Sutton is talking about Amanda being a wimp. Sutton, of all people, calling someone a wimp? Did we forget how Sutton had a breakdown against Crystal Kung Minkoff? And she's just like, you and your ugly leather pants. You have nerve to talk about someone being a wimp? If anything, I have to say this. Amanda has really dealt very well in comparison to you over these seasons. But maybe because Amanda reminds you of yourself. The same with Dorit, the same with... Maybe that's what it is. But you, of all people, to call anyone a wimp? And you guys are escalating. Because you saw how Bose came in. She was just like, oh, where's everyone else? Amanda's like, oh, Rachel, Kyle, and Dorit went to the Hamptons. And poor Erica's like, why wasn't I invited? Because she said she's trying to manifest billions. I guess that man ain't what she thought he was. Okay. She talks about her man in this episode a little bit. Okay. So Bose asked her, but if they weren't going to be in the Hamptons, would you have invited her? So it's like she's stirring the pot. So like, if they weren't, would you have invited her? She's like, I don't know. We need to have a conversation first. Right now I'm uncomfortable. So Bose in her confession's just like, oh, here we go. Now she's uncomfortable and like, she's conflating and she's da-da-da-da. You guys are making a bigger deal out of what Amanda said than what it actually was. You guys are making the bigger deal. Sutton says that Amanda just can't cop to what she said to Dorit. And yes, do I think that Amanda should be like, you know what? I shouldn't have talked about your marriage. If I offended you about your marriage, I'm sorry. And then this could be done. But I feel like this entire group has been targeting Amanda since the season began. But that's me. That's all I have to say about this week's episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They also showed at the end of the episode the mid-season trailer. I wasn't sold on it. I wasn't sold on it. Okay? But that's me. You guys will let me know. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's an easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. I want to move on because we have so much more to get into. First off, Brandy, thank you so much for the super chat. Brandy says, why is Dorit clueless about money she's been getting paid? Well... Something has never been right with Dorit and PK. Their finances, their story, who they are. Let's be honest. Your finance auntie, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. It's because the wigs are not wigging. Bye, Bose. Damn. Oh, sorry. Miss Esquire, thank you so much. Let me shimmy for the $20. Thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, Bose is mad because as a black woman with education and expertise, she can't find as much success as a white woman who doesn't have the same education or expertise but finds success. Welcome to being a black woman in America. Well, 100%. Here's the other element of that. because remember the allegations that people that allegedly worked with Bose over the years called in last year and pointed out. We even had Tyler call in and talk about his experience with her. You would get into these positions talking about diversity, wanting to help people with, people that looks like you, and you ended up not doing that. Is that karma? Just saying. Just saying. OMG Steph, thank you so much for the super chat. OMG Steph says, Bo's coming in hot for Amanda, but Amanda has a master's in counseling and was pursuing a PhD when her online business blew up and she quit the program. I don't get the issue she has, I don't get the issue. She has some qualifications. 100%. But you see how they breeze over that. And she owns the fact. She owns, in her conversation with Bose, she owned the fact that Bose set her up because she tried to ask Amanda financial questions. She's like, I'm not a financial analyst. She literally said that in the same conversation. And Bose was like, she's like set her up for like, what kind of financial advice would you give her here? She told you that she has her experiences in therapy. So of course her advice is going to be more therapized as opposed to analytical. But okay. Anyway, moving on. I'm done talking about Beverly Hills. I think, was that more than 10 minutes? Did someone time it? Was that more than 10 minutes? I definitely feel like it was definitely more than 10 minutes. I ended up talking about Bose's failed workshop. Miss Esquire, and she's a Virgo, Miss Esquire. Amanda triggers these women on several levels. She probably would trigger me too. Does Amanda have a PhD? If she had a PhD, she would tell us to call her a doctor. She would. All right, guys, keep liking the video. I am going to drop the call link for our members before we move on because I do have a few stories that I still need to get to. See, this is Friday. Just want to say I'm not going to do Fridays live, but then there's things for us to talk about, like Kimora Lee squatting in a $25 million home. We're going to get to that in just a second. But before we get to that, let me drop the call-in link on the community tab. And if you're not subscribed, y'all, become a subscriber. You're missing out on a lot of stuff. We will be going live later this evening. I'm going to try and get my energy up. I probably need to take a nap. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. PST for our special Valentine's Day dating live. This is not the first time that we've done a live, but it's been a while since we've done one. So if you have an update in regards to your dating life or you want to talk to us about your dating life, this is your opportunity. Okay, so make sure you save the date and time, which is today at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, all right, let me drop the call-in link for our members, and then members, we're not taking callers just yet, but I want to do this before I forget. And then we are going to get into Dr. Simone and Heavenly are going at it on social media. And this is something that we've talked about. There wasn't a new episode of Married to Medicine, but you know that they filmed the reunion last week. Okay. So apparently, I was wondering to myself why Dr. Heavenly even posted this tweet. Shout out to our friends over at OMFG Reality TV. So Dr. Heavenly posted this tweet saying, yes, I did reality TV and I was golden at it. But this is personal. I'm a professional. I showed up, stood in my truth, and built something powerful. Now, my community needs me. And the same bold, smart, fearless woman you saw before will be golden in Congress too. So I was like, I think that's interesting. Well, Dr. Simone on Instagram replies and says, your community is not interested in a fool. Never has been, never will be. They are better than you aspire to be. Oh. Okay. Well, here's the thing. So some people, I've seen mixed reviews. I've seen some people saying that Dr. Simone should talk. She's been yelling and hollering on Married to Medicine for years. Some people agree with Dr. Simone. You already know how I feel because based on what we saw in last week's episode of Married to Medicine, the fact that Heavenly would sit there and act like a Karen to production and HR allegedly, telling them that Simone was aggressive and Simone was unhinged. She said she admitted, she said, I told them all the things that they needed to hear. And I was like, oh, so you're a Karen. All the things that you're trying to protect black boys like your son from, you are doing to another black woman? And you probably thought because it's reality television that it's not perpetuated. Things like that everywhere will be perpetuated. So she lost my vote, but I'm not in her district. I think Dr. Heavenly talks a good game, but the actions itself, I'm telling you, she's lucky she's not running against me, because I kind of wish somebody was running against her that would be like, let me put all the clips together. The things she said about gay men, the things that she said about infertile women, all the things. And then I'll throw Dr. Jackie in there because you were sitting right next to her. I would throw it all in, and I would put the date so people realize this wasn't 20 years ago. This was last year. This was the year before. This was a couple of months ago. This was a few weeks ago. That's what I would do. But I'm not in the election. I don't even know who she's running against. Okay? Ooh, Way of Keith says, Dr. Heavenly is an old joke that is no longer funny. I wouldn't trust a reality star as my doctor or dentist. So I definitely wouldn't vote for one. Wow. I will give you Virgos this. Y'all know how to write a sentence. Shout out to the Virgos. Y'all really know how to read, okay? And when I say read, I mean read, okay? Wow. But I've already spoken about how I feel when it comes to Dr. Heavenly and her pursuit. And I've given her credit. I was like, it feels like she's done her homework. But then we saw the last episode of Married to Medicine. And I said, the fact that you would do something like that to a fellow doctor, someone you've said on your own platform, we have licenses. We could lose our licenses. We shouldn't be doing stuff like that. We could lose our licenses. So you would say to production and on a national television show that she was unhinged, that she was aggressive, that she cursed at you, only for the video to prove that you are a liar. Okay. Jason Hernandez says that Heavenly can't even keep her facial composure together when in an argument. She's not ready for Congress. And I also hate the excuse where people say, well, look who's in office now. Look who's at the top of our political system. Yeah, we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen ever again. We don't want to perpetuate what that is, okay? We do not want to perpetuate that. You know what we won't be seeing of like a Jasmine Crockett? Some of the behavior that we've seen of Dr. Heavenly in recent weeks, in recent years. Just saying. That's the difference between a Jasmine Crockett that's going to challenge the system versus a Dr. Heavenly. Okay? But you know what? If she wins, look, I wish the best for the district. At the end of the day, if she wins, I hope that she's able to do something for that district. But again, I don't know who is she running against. Like, who's in the district? Who is she running against? Does she have a Democratic nomination, or is she still at the primary stage? I know nothing about that election. Can someone tell me, please? Well, GC, I've been saying this for the longest time. Dr. Heavenly did all of this so that we wouldn't talk about her real family life, like her son that moved out after she hollered and screamed at him, and what he got arrested for, then tried to run over the police officer. All right. Allegedly, I'll say, I guess. Look, I guess. All right. Let's move on from there. What else did I have on my list of things? Let's talk about the Kimora, because I know some of y'all are just here for me to talk about the Kimora Lee Simmons of it all. And I think that's actually my last story. Oh, no, wait. Before we get to the Kimora of it all, I want to say congratulations to Iyanla. So Iyanla has her new show on OWN. So apparently, OWN, according to Variety, they've greenlit 2 new television specials starring Iyanla Vanzant, an Emmy Award-winning spiritual life coach. While details of the specials are still under wraps, both will continue Vanzant's goal of helping people, quote, fix their lives, with production beginning in March. That's next month. I'm not surprised, because I don't know if you guys saw the reads, because Iyanla has a new book out. Spiritual Hygiene. I have the book. Spiritual Hygiene. And she sat down with Oprah for her podcast to talk about what's in the book, and it was very enlightening. If we talk about family, the glorilla of it all. If we talk about family and the toxicities of family and things like that, she talks a little bit about that during this sit down. It was really, really, really good. So if you haven't seen it, you can watch it on YouTube as well, or listen to it on the podcast. So the news of the 2 special comes following the launch and rollout of Iyanla, The Inside Fix, a revived take on Vanzant's previous series, Iyanla Fix My Life, in which she offered deeper reflections on 12 of the most memorable episodes. Iyanla, The Inside Fix premiered at #1 among African-American women, according to OWN, which says that it's the top-rated cable network among African-American women on Saturdays. The response to The Inside Fix has been nothing short of a blessing, Vanzant said. The series is a ministry of healing. Each story, each tear, each moment of truth is sacred encounter with the human soul. When one soul speaks its truth, the frequency of truth expands through the collective. When one heart is cleansed, the vibration of wholeness ripples outward. Those who watch are not bystanders. They are participants in the collective healing process for themselves, their families, their communities, and the world. It is not about fixing your life. It's about freeing your soul. No more surface solutions. This is where truth becomes transformation. So while Iyanla, The Inside Fix premiered earlier this year, Iyanla first made her television debut with Iyanla Fix My Life in 2012. The show ran until 2021. Wow, I didn't realize it ran that long. Spotlighting conversations about personal growth and featuring guests including Sherri Whitfield, Karrueche Tran, Evelyn Lozada, and more. And DMX. She also is the author of more than 17 books. I have a bunch of them too. I love me some Iyanla Vanzant. I knew Iyanla before Iyanla Fixed My Life. Remember, she started on the Oprah Winfrey Show. That's where I got into her. I read a bunch of her books. I reread some of her books, like One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. I read that in high school. That's how long I've been riding with Iyanla. Okay, I read Yesterday I Cried. Forgiveness, 21 Days to Forgive Everyone for Everything, among others. She also has her new book out, Spiritual Hygiene, that you guys can go. I started reading it, but I haven't finished it yet. So Iyanla's got 2 new shows in the works, 2 new specials in the works over there at OWN. So congratulations to Iyanla. All right. Let's get to Kimora Lee Simmons. So we love Kimora over here. She's our Taurus sister. We also recapped her new show, Back in the Fab Lane. So if you missed it, you can definitely hear it on our podcast, like you can hear this. You can also see it here on YouTube. All right. So Kimora Lee Simmons, I was so shocked by this story, y'all. According to the New York Post, Kimora Lee is squatting in a $25 million home. So the home that we saw of that they were filming in this season of Back in the Fab Lane, that was the house that her ex-husband, I don't know if we can call it ex, because remember we found out she married this man, but he was already married, but he lied to her. They have a kid together, but isn't he in jail? I mean, she didn't give us any updates on that. She slightly talked about her exes, but she never really gave full details. So according to Jennifer Gould over there at the New York Post, entrepreneur and reality TV star Kimora Lee Simmons has spent around 5 years living in a legally contested $25 million Beverly Hills mansion purchased by her estranged husband. They're saying estranged. I don't think they're legally married. By her estranged husband with money he stole from 1MDB, a Malaysian sovereign wealth fund at the heart of one of the world's largest multi-billion-dollar frauds in history, the Post can reveal. We've talked about this before, y'all. Simmons has not made mortgage so she's not paying nothing, y'all. She's living in this place free. Simmons has not made mortgage or rent payments in that time, per court docs, and she's allegedly refusing to vacate the house. What? She's claiming that her estranged husband, disgraced banker Tom Leisner, sold the property fraudulently and without authority to real estate moguls, the Rubin brothers. Okay, but if okay. All right. She's got a lot of legal stuff going on because, she's also in a legal battle with her ex-husband, Russell Simmons. And it's all tied to her her estranged husband, Tim Leisner. All of it, her legal issues with Russell Simmons too, because he accuses them of using stocks from their Celsius company to bail him out. All right. So she's claiming that her estranged husband and disgraced banker Tim Leisner sold the property fraudulently and without authority to real estate moguls, the Rubin brothers. The 7-bedroom estate, which sits on 3.7 acres in the heart of Beverly Hills, can be seen at least from the outside in her current reality show, Kimora, Back in the Fab Lane. We saw it on the inside too. We watched those episodes. But what will happen to the property remains unclear as the legal dispute enters. It's been in a legal dispute for 5 years. Yes, Kimora wins. She's been living rent-free for 5 years in a $25 million mansion? What? Look, if you know the history about Kimora Lee, Kimora might be the original Joanne. Never mind. We love Kimora over here. And for those of you that say bring her to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, no, because they're going to exploit it. They're going to exploit it and they're going to pile on her. And no, we need her to exploit it on her own reality show. But Kimora, you got all of this happening and we didn't know about it? Okay. It says he's locked up abroad, that husband. Well, he's in Bali, avoiding his situations here. Russell that we're talking about. Sarah says, Kimora's squatting with all her money. Wow. Well, one thing that you'll learn about some of these rich people, they stay rich by not paying for stuff, all right, and living off of credit. So they said this has been going, the legal dispute is entering its 5th year. So she's been living in a Beverly Hills mansion for free. What? Okay. The ongoing civil dispute over possession, title, and liability stems from the distressed refinancing and sale leaseback of the luxury property. A trial-setting conference is slated for February 25th. Leisner has yet to comment or actually participate in the case, although he was personally served in New York on August 14th. How was he personally served? Is he not in jail? Is he not in jail, or did they serve him in prison? Oh, wait, hold on. Rewind. It all comes as Leisner, a German national, surrendered to the federal prison in Allentown, Pennsylvania on February. Oh, so he just went to jail. What? Okay, so I'm giving you a full update, y'all. So he's in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I used to work with a lady that used to live in Allentown. I didn't know there was a federal prison over there. So the German national surrendered to federal prison in Allentown, Pennsylvania on February 6th. Why is he just surrendering to prison? 8 years after he pled guilty for his role in the $4.5 billion fraud. So he'd been out here for 8 years after pleading guilty? He just turned himself in? Simmons has also been in the news promoting her show. Yeah, she didn't talk about this at all. So in 2022, Leisner testified under oath that he bought the property at 25 Beverly Park Circle with $25 million that had been stolen from the Malaysian people. He gave the testimony as the government's star witness in the criminal trial of his former Goldman Sachs colleague, Roger Ng, in federal court in Brooklyn. So Roger is currently serving a 10-year jail sentence for his role. There is no evidence or suggestions that Simmons was involved in the 1MDB scandal. No one disputes that the $25 million... This is like Erica Jane all over again, when you think about it. Just saying. It sounds very familiar, doesn't it? So no one disputes that the $25 million Beverly Hills home was bought with stolen 1MDB money in 2017. Now, Kimora. So that's not the dispute? So you know that this home was bought with stolen money? Hey. Kimora. But the fact that Leisner did not have to forfeit the mansion is unusual, and it leaves the door open for Malaysia to demand it back from its current owners, along with any other assets that Leisner bought with stolen money, sources told the Post. And he has quite a few. The massive fraud began in 2009 with the creation of a Malaysian sovereign wealth fund, One Malaysian Development Berhad. Within days, 700 million had been siphoned out of it. That year, a Wharton dropout named Joe Low, described by the U.S. international investigators and prosecutors as the fraud's architect, began buying trophy real estate in Manhattan with stolen cash and throwing money around New York City clubs. The Post was the first publication to mention Low by name, pointing out his high-rolling ways, which caught the eye of investigators, sources told later the Post. Low, who remains a fugitive, maintains his innocence, but gave up around $700 million in assets to the DOJ without admitting guilt. He still faces criminal charges in the Eastern District of New York for money laundering and Foreign Corrupt Practices Act violations, and in D.C. for illegal campaign contributions. Isn't this what's involved with Praz? Well, Praz from the Fugees? Yes. But if Low was one MDB's architect, Leisner was its engineer, another source told the Post. Tim Leisner, Kimora's estranged husband. Okay. This is juicy. Hold on. The 6-year fund, which benefited Malaysia's then Prime Minister Najib Razak, Low and others, was ultimately investigated by 10 different countries. And Leisner was arrested for his part in June of 2018. As the judge in Rogers' case said, Leisner admitted to the efforts to move and hide assets, including ownership of his entities like Keyway, the holding company for Beverly Hills Mansion, out of an apparent concern that the U.S. government would seek to disgorge the property as restitution. The Beverly Hills home is also unusual because other trophy real estate assets bought with stolen 1MDB cash have been seized, like Low's New York and LA properties, including a $30.55 million condo on Columbus Circle. Okay. Another penthouse in Walker Tower at 212 West 18th. Let me go walk down over there. Where Walker Tower? I'm always on 18th Street. Was bought for a record $51 million, purchased in 2014 by Kadim Al-Kwabasi, who was implicated in the fraud and is now in prison. There's a lot of people in prison. The property was seized and sold by the U.S. government for a paltry $18 million in 2020. Who got that deal? Wow, from $51 million to $18 million? That's a deal. Celebrities who were gifted pricey assets bought with stolen 1MDB money were also asked by the U.S. government to return them in a record civil asset forfeiture case, and they did, mostly. Who didn't return the stuff? To date, the government has successfully recovered and repatriated around $1.4 billion to Malaysia, the largest recovery in DOJ history. Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, returned a Picasso and Basquiat worth a combined $12.2 million, and Marlon Brando's Oscar worth $600,000, all gifted to him by Low with 1MDB money. First of all, Leonardo, I'm giving you the side eye since you attended Bezos' wedding. Why would you accept a multi-million-dollar gift from this man? I barely would take $100 and something gift from a friend. If a friend gave me like $1,000, like let's say a friend got me a piece of artwork that was worth thousands of dollars, I would like, oh no. That this is too expensive. No. Leonardo DiCaprio accepted this multi-million-dollar Picasso and Basquiat, the appropriation of it all. Give back that Basquiat. He did. Now give it to me. No. I feel like only black people should own Basquiat. Just saying. worth a combined $12.2 million. So he accepted $12.2 million from Lowe. It makes me think that you were accepting that for other reasons. Just saying, millions of dollars of artwork you're just accepting, from a friend? Okay. All right. I feel like that was you were being paid off for something. Just saying. I mean, I know he can afford it, but I'm just saying, even as a millionaire, I'm like, are you buying me off for something? I just don't. Picasso? Basquiat? All right, fine. So, Marlon Brando's Oscar. Why does Marlon Brando's family not have his Oscar? All right. But Simmons' home remains an outlier and is now the subject of this messy court case. Leisner claimed in court that Rogers' 2022 trial that he sold his assets to Newland, a Hong Kong-based company. But sources say that Newland may have been a front company. Y'all thought this government were scammers. So in November of 2020, Leisner's LLC, Keyway Pride, held by Newland, sold the Beverly Hills property to billionaire brothers and real estate moguls David Rubin and Simon Rubin after interest on a $12 million mortgage had been taken out to cover living expenses was not paid, according to a source with knowledge of the deal. The Rubin brothers declined to comment. As a part of the deal, Leisner and Simmons were also to pay $67,000 a month to continue living in the property, according to the court docs. Oh. So, however, Simmons has been living there since November of 2020, and no rent has been paid to date, a source with knowledge of the deal told the Post. While Simmons later challenged the sale and leaseback of the property in October of 2020, she allegedly signed a Keyway resolution authorizing it. Oh, what in the Erica Jane is going on? Although she says that her signature was procured through misrepresentation and abuse of trust by Leisner, I mean, she might win that because Leisner apparently also didn't tell her that he was married before, allegedly. So she's saying that the signature was procured through misrepresentation and abuse of trust by Leisner, according to the defendant's complaint filed in January of 2021, 2 months after the home was sold to the Rubin brothers. RC says, this is a lot. I know, but we're reading through it. We're almost done. Oh my goodness. They have a picture of them in her closet in the house. Remember that closet that, for those that watched Back in the Fab Lane, where it almost looked like a department store? Simmons' lawyers and reps did not return requests for comment, nor did Leisner's lawyer. In court testimony in the Roger Ning case, Leisner said that he continued to reside in the home after his 2018 arrest. He and Simmons have a 10-year-old son, but did not specify when he left. The estranged couple no longer live together, sources say, adding that neither Leisner nor Simmons have paid a penny to live there. In January of 2021, Simmons filed a lawsuit in Beverly Hills court. The ongoing case is between cross-defendants and plaintiffs Keyway Pride, Leisner, and Simmons, and cross-plaintiffs and defendants 25 Beverly Park Circle Propco LLC, Cantervale Limited, and Chicago Tile Company. This is so complicated. So in the lawsuit, Simmons claims that the new owners of the house, the Rubin brothers, illegally bought the Beverly Hills house because it was bought without her permission. None of this drama, however, is a part of Simmons' new reality show, Kimora Back in the Fab Lane, which features at least the exterior of the Beverly Hills home. In a clip promoting the reality series, she says that my name is Kimora and I'm a hoarder, but a luxury hoarder, as she shows off her collection of 698 luxury handbags. Simmons once posted on social media about her friendship with Rajma Mansour, the diamond collecting handbag stockpiling wife of ex-Prime Minister Najib. Oh? Mansour has been compared to Imelda Marcos for the way she amasses luxury goods bought with stolen money. Simmons' handbag collection is even larger than Mansour's, although there's no suggestion that Simmons was bought with her items were bought with stolen money. That was not the case for Mansour. In May of 2018, police seized her collection of 567 luxury handbags shortly after Najib's coalition lost the general election. Police were seen loading 5 trucks with orange Hermes boxes. Many of the handbags were ultimately returned. Others were auctioned by government, according to reports. Y'all want to see Rosema? Because y'all need to see Rosema. Because if I have to be subjected to her, y'all got to be subjected to her too. Okay, Rosema. Rosema apparently has a big collection of bags. However, damn. I just can't with this world. People, the rich, just stealing. So before you guys want to have the lives of other people, please understand some of these lives are bought and stolen. Okay? Bought and stolen. Well, damn. So Kimora's been living in that Beverly Hills mansion, $25 million. Is she paying the electric? You got to pay the electric. Somebody got to get paid. Is she paying for the electric at least? So she's been living rent-free. Okay? And look, please understand. Kimora does have her own stuff. She has her Celsius. She has baby fat. I don't know the finances of those businesses, but she does have money. But can you imagine? Just picture your life right now if you did not have to pay a mortgage or rent, and you had that money just collecting somewhere. Kimora is many things, but she's not dumb, and she just proved to me with this particular heist. With this particular heist, she really isn't dumb. She's been living in a multi-million-dollar mansion for free. For free. All right, Kimora, we see you. We see you. We see you. All right, live chat. We're almost at 600 likes. Let's get to 600 likes, and I'll drop the call link for you guys as well. We do have quite a few members that want to weigh in on some of the hot topics that we talked about today. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. And if you're watching the replay of this, I'll add the timestamps later. Okay? I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to relax. I'm going to eat something. And then I'll add the timestamps. You can wait. But shout out to all of you that have been here this entire time. I appreciate you guys. But I get it. Not everyone can be here during the live. But replay, you can fast forward if there's something that you don't want to talk about. Okay? Sacha, thank you so much for the super chat. Sacha says, they said her son almost ran over the cop, but she spins the narrative that her son was the victim. Georgia rumor, son off TV because he's doing cocaine. Oh, no. Oh, Lord. Well, allegedly. I don't know. Wait, Allie? Allie from Miami? Hey. Thank you for the super chat. Allie says, Dr. Heavenly's running against incumbent Democrat David Scott for the primary in April. Oh, thank you so much, Allie. How do you guys feel about David Scott? Okay. How do y'all feel about him? I'd like to know. Now I feel like I need to do some research. Mr. Mellon Magic, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Mr. Mellon then says, Heavenly is dark, but Simone can't say anything about a fool. Simone is taking care of 3 unemployed men with a combined IQ in double digits. Hashtag anti-wed. Well, we already talked about her coming for people saying that her husband doesn't work and he's living off of her. She's trying to gaslight us like Contessa. Amy, thank you so much to Super Chat for being a member. Amy says, so Russell wasn't lying about Kimora stealing his money too? Can I say something? And I'm going to say something, I'm going to take it back. As Heavenly would say, I never thought he was lying. Way of Keith, thank you so much for Super Chat for being a member. Kimora's a scammer. Her husband a scammer. Russell scamming his victims. The daughter scamming that old man. They're all scamming. It runs in the family. Goodbye, Keith. That made me laugh, though. All right, let me get to these callers really quick. Eric, callers, please keep in mind, the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC. I need to get off here by 5 o'clock. Please be straight to the point and abide by the timer. Okay? Thank you. All right, we're going to bring Nia up first. Nia, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So regarding Traitors, although I don't really like Rob, I do think that he is going to win and should at this point, because the way that he was controlling that conversation in the turret, I was like, Eric, do you not have a backbone, a voice, anything? Like, I'm confused. Aren't you like a whole singer or whatever? And also, side note, I do think that Traitors needs Black people like Candace, Phaedra, Bob the drag queen, like the list goes on, because this was by far the most boring episode of the Traitors ever. like across the board, UK, Canada, US, I'm sorry. And regarding the Valley Kempire, I need a huge favor from you if it's okay. Can you please create a Reza rant? Remember when he exposed MJ and her 10 abortions?
I feel
Yeah,
like this is
because
too
that's
dark.
the real Reza.
I know, but I feel like
That's
that's
the
too
real.
dark.
Sorry?
I feel like that's too dark, what he said
That
in
is
that.
too dark, and that's who he is, though. Like, he's
Yeah.
pro-genocide. Like, I'm
Mm.
so Team Tommy on this. I'm very
Yeah.
sorry, but that is who Reza is. Like, he
I'm Team
will
Tommy.
throw you under the bus, expose your deepest, darkest secrets to the entire world. Like, that's a friend? I'm sorry, what? Anyways, have a great
But
weekend.
you see how Mercedes is it's fine with it. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't get it. That's why I'm like, Tommy, it's not even like he has an attitude or he's a New Yorker. He's just genuinely like, he has self-respect, and I rate that.
yeah, I agree,
Yeah,
Mia.
have a
Thanks for
great
calling
one.
in. You
Thank
too.
you.
Bye. All right, we have Brandy backstage. We're gonna bring Brandy up next. Hey, Brandy.
Hey, Kempire.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. As far as the read, yeah, I'm confused about. Well, I guess all the redacting and her and looking for PK's money. It's obvious PK's money don't exist. But I'm like, is he controlling her money or something? Because I don't get where she act like she need him for money. Like she working with a couple $100,000 at least every year.
But that lifestyle, the bag she was looking at this week was $11,000.
Yeah, but I'm like, instead of looking for his money, she needs to be worried about making sure he don't get to her money. Like she needs to be protecting that. And I did want to say something you mentioned yesterday about Giselle not liking the direction that the show is going in or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a reality show, and that's y'all reality. Well, that's Karen and Wendy's reality. So I mean, is you don't like what? You don't like being real? Like,
Well,
just be happy it's not your reality, Giselle.
right?
But she want to harp on Stacey about cannabis stuff that's irrelevant. It's like her and Robin is just unqualified combined. Like they just useless.
Thanks, Brandy. All right, we're gonna bring up Jasmine next. Jasmine, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, happy Friday.
You too.
Hey, okay, real quick, I just want to say about Heavenly, I'm happy someone did bring that up about the primary. So that is in April. I live in Georgia. I don't live in Heavenly's district, so I don't know anything about the person she's she's running against.
Yeah.
But if you live in Georgia, please get educated on who's in your primary and what's on the ballot. Like I said, I live in Georgia. I don't want Heavenly representing me as a Democrat in Georgia, and I'm just gonna say that. I listened to some of her interview that she did recently, somewhere, I don't know. Very compelling, like you mentioned previously, but I still can't reconcile that against.
She's a good talker.
She's a very good talker, but that's not going to erase what I've seen from her all these years.
Because, like, which one is the real you?
Exactly. Which one is the real you? And then in terms of bowls, I never knew that was a real workshop she had. I thought that was just in person. I didn't know she was selling video courses. It gives scam. I said that. Kempire didn't say that. I said that. And she's selling workout plans with Keely too.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your show tonight, Kempire.
Thank you. Bye. All right. Let's bring up D. Nicole next. D. Nicole, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kemp.
Hey.
I just want to talk about Traitors real quick. I wasn't able to join the last Traitors conversation, but I really wish Candace did not. I know we don't like Connor. That's his name?
Colton.
See, that's how you know I don't like him. But I know we don't like Colton, but I really wish she didn't banish him and just not bring him on as a traitor, because absolutely not. They would have found a way to get her out either way. But I just wish in that instance she played a little bit smarter, because she might still be here. Because he had already been saying her name. And Rob, with his big headed self, was co-signing it. And I'm so mad because he is handsome, but I can't like him anymore. But that really made me so mad. But then you see in this episode, he tells Eric, oh, there people saying your name. So you were being sneaky. You were being biased. You wanted the women out, in my opinion. That's what it's looking like. But at this point, I have to agree with the other caller. If Rob wins, I can't be mad because they're so stupid. But yes, I hope you have a good day, and I'll be in
The dating live?
Galentine's. Yes.
Okay. See you
All
later.
right.
Bye. Viewer is viewing. What's going on? What did you want to
Hey,
share?
hey. I just wanted to say this. You know, it'd be really nice if you started like guided meditations for us
Oh.
because your voice, I had no idea you were going on live. I was busy at work like I'm supposed to be. But like your voice is so soothing. Like I clicked on YouTube and I was like, oh yes,
You know, I do
Kimber.
have a guided
Yes.
meditation on my YouTube channel. It's one I did during the pandemic. If you Google it,
Really?
there's one.
Let me go rewind because that's what I did with Married to Medicine. I binge watch and then I'll watch all your like reviews from last season.
Thank
So it
you.
was so entertaining to me because other than that, I hadn't watched Married to Medicine for like 8 or 10 years because they just arguing about the same stuff. I don't even know if it's been on that long, but it's
No, it has
basically the
12
same
seasons.
stuff. Yeah, but thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a good day. All right. Yes, guys, we have playlists for all of that stuff. So be sure to check that out. Let me bring up our next guest, Know the Queen. There we go.
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I want to talk about Traitors, but I did miss your recap. But did you guys talk about the podcast episode?
No, we didn't, but I did watch it.
Dorinda on that podcast just validated everything we've been saying this whole time, how she was so happy to be murdered by Rob.
Yeah.
And her, Mora, and Natalie were enchanted by him. Like, that's the gameplay. These faithfuls are so terrible. They're so surface level. It's to the point that Rob is so smug that he announced his strategy during that game about using Johnny as a cover, and they still didn't even pick up or consider it. It's so frustrating. And it's just not entertaining if there's only one person playing the game.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening right now. I just
agree.
can't. And then Eric being a mess. I'm so annoyed at this game. I'm still Team Candace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you see Ron said he was coming for everybody at the reunion?
Oh, yes, I did see that clip. That was hilarious.
So, at least we have something to look forward to.
Yes. I mean, I didn't hear that he did, but I'll get back to you guys in regards to what I find out.
Hey.
Thanks, Know the Queen. Bye. All right, let's bring up Miss Esquire next. Miss Esquire, what's going on?
Hi, how are you? I'm gonna come off camera.
Hey.
Hi.
Okay.
Hi. Okay, so here's the thing with Bose. I really do struggle with her because I'm like, I know that you have a really high net worth. You just gave your baby a Maserati on this last episode. So I'm really trying to figure out why you hawking bundles and MLM workshops and you speaking at these empowerment brunches. The math is not mathing. It just is not. Because if I was worth anywhere from 10 to $30 million, which is what people report that she is worth, honey, I would be sitting somewhere laid back and let my investments work for me. I wouldn't be trying to give y'all anything that is on, that you can sew onto your head or that's on a whiff. I don't understand. But Amanda's very triggering for them. I
Yeah.
mean, she is very, very millennial coded for these Gen Z and boomer women. And they just don't really know how to relate to her, especially because these are kept women, most of them. It's surprising to me that Rachel, of all people, is not aligned more with Amanda because they're both like self-made women
Yes.
in a similar way. But Sutton is very triggered by Amanda. Like Amanda represents everything that Sutton did not do in her life. Like she let a man be in control of her life and her livelihood, and now her literal identity is unraveling because of it. Also, let me just say, as a single parent with 2 kids who have different last names than mine, you really have to examine the patriarchy that makes you want to have all of the same names. And I think it's because people know when you have a different last name than your children that there's a certain stigmatization with that. And we do that to mothers who had their children outside the bounds of marriage or, maybe whatever. I think it kind of has an almost single mother, non-married mother tag to it that people don't want to be associated with.
Yeah.
That's patriarchy, and it's also racism. So that's it.
What, you think they racist against Sutton?
No, I think Sutton comes from the South where it's very important to say I was married to my husband. I had my children within the bonds of marriage. They are not illegitimate, and that is
Yeah.
why we all have the same name. And again, that's fine, honey, but you should examine why that's so important to you to like
Mm.
give up your identity in that way.
So
Just
you
saying.
so you believe that's a real storyline for Sutton? It's not something she made up.
I do. I wish you wouldn't talk about it with her baby and talk to your friends about it, because it's inappropriate for a mother to have that conversation with her child about her child's father. And
Mm.
essentially, that's what that was. I don't care how you slice and dice it, but it's a real thing. It's a loss of identity to a
Mm-hmm.
certain extent, but
Yeah.
you should examine why that identity was important to you to begin with.
Mm. All right, Miss Esquire. Thanks for calling in. Take care. Have a great weekend. Unless you call in later. Unless you call in later. Don't forget, guys, we will be live at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. PST for our special Valentine's Day Dating Live. So you guys will be calling in to talk about dating and things like that. I'll bring up some hot topics at the beginning, but it's mostly about you. So get your questions and comments ready. Let me bring up these last couple of callers because I got to get out of here. Way of Keith. What's going on? Oh, Keith. I think Keith was having a problem connecting. Oh, both my callers dropped out. Damn, I lost them both. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. We're almost at 700 likes. Thank you to everyone that sent in super chats, Venmos, Cash Apps. We appreciate it. We appreciate your support. What else? Okay. Mary says, but for the people who knew Rob from Love Island, he is a pet producer. They protect him all season and give him soft questions on reunions. Someone on Peacock is enchanted by that man. Look, all right. Miss Esquire says, I'm going to try to call later if my two little funny Valentines are asleep. Let's bring up Keith again. Keith, are you there?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. Someone called me.
Okay. What did you want to
Yeah,
share?
but yeah, I just wanted to say, Amanda really has these girls pressed because it seems like a lot of their issues aren't even with who she is as a person. I feel like they just have an issue with her being new money. And realistically speaking, all of them are new money except for Kathy and probably Jennifer Tilly and Kyle. But I mean, I just really don't see the big issue on why they have a problem with Amanda. It feels like they're just trying to find any type of storyline and anybody to harp over. But
Mm-hmm.
also, in addition to that, I think Kimora is giving that woman in Bethesda a run for her money because that girl was out in 9 months. Kimora, like 9 months, I'll raise you 5 years. So I see, I see you, Kimora, okay, scamming, but you scamming at the highest level. I mean, if you're going to scam, at least scam for 25 million. I mean, do it big, right? Do it big. But also, lastly, I do want to say Rob is such a good player. I honestly think he's a great player because the fact that he is able to just get out trader after trader after trader. And mind you, the traders are coming after him. Like they are saying his name. First it was Lisa, then it was Candace. So it's so funny because I don't know if he's playing a good game or if the faithfuls are just very horrible, but he's definitely going to win. I see that.
I think
But that's
both. I
about
think it's an element of both. I think he is playing a good game. Like he's using what works for him. And I also
it.
think that these faithfuls are dumb.
Yep, they low hanging fruit. He's not even doing much.
But
And I
remember,
wouldn't be surprised if Eric goes home next and he ends
yeah.
up having Eric send home Kristen. And then after that, because of the whole situation with Kristen, everyone going to send Eric
Mm-hmm.
home after that.
Yep.
Watch.
So as RP says, Pam Oliver taking notes from Kimora. Goodbye. Goodbye, all of you. Bye, Keith.
But
Y'all are a mess. For those that will not be available to tonight's Dating Live, I do want to say Happy Valentine's Day ahead of this because I'm not going live on Valentine's Day. I'll be, treat myself. You know what I mean? So, and that's my advice to anyone. Treat yourself on Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a Valentine. Go get you some chocolates. Go get you a massage. Go take yourself out to eat or order in. Do something that you love. Valentine's Day is about love, and the most important love in order to attract love is self-love. Okay. Thank you all for being here for our Friday Live. If you're part of the replay, be sure to let us know your thoughts. I'll add the timestamps when I get to it. Let me go meditate first. All right. And heat my neck. All right. All right. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. And if you're not a subscriber or you just became a subscriber, thank you. Welcome. But shout out to those of you that are still watching and that have already liked the video. I will see you all in the next one. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And today marks a month till our live show here in New York City. If you haven't gotten your tickets, what are you waiting on? What are you waiting on? Go get your tickets today. Ticket information will be available in the description. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, y'all. So I get it. You did not complete your New Year resolution. That's okay. It's not too late. You can start today, and I have the best option for you. You don't have to cook your meals yourself. You can rely on Factor. Factor is the sponsor of today's Live, and I'm so excited because we've been working with Factor for a very long time. I just had some of my meals, and I've tried so many different meal services over the years, and this is one that has stuck for me because at the end of the day, you want food that works for your lifestyle, maybe protein, maybe vegan, or maybe you're on a GLP-1. Factor has something for everyone. And they have different types of meals from breakfast to lunch and dinner and snacks. Cold days, big goals, no time to cook. Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So eat well without the planning or cooking. They have quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. That's the most important thing for me, is that you can rely on whatever you're eating with Factor. You know that's going to be quality and not something loaded with things that are not good for you. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, no refined seed oils. They have rotating weekly meals to keep things fresh and delicious through winter. Options include high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support, and ready-to-eat salads. And of course, I always get you a deal. So head to factormeals.com/Kempire50off and use code Kempire50off to get 50% off and free breakfast for 1 year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. 1 free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription lasts. Again, more details on Factor will be available in the description.
Here we go now.